Hey there, how's it going? It's April 17th, 2011. It's 4:37 in the morning. I should be sleeping, but got raccoon eyes from just washing my face and using waterproof mascara. Always a fun combination. Water doesn't really get rid of waterproof mascara. Um, so yeah, I've been having just pretty much a weird night. Basically, um, just a weird situation with some close friends who broke up, and somehow I've been tossed in the middle, and that, of course, always adds weirdness. But I don't really want to talk about that, um, although it has been occupying my thoughts pretty much for a good portion of the day. Um, I guess what sticks in my mind even more so is just this really annoying situation when I went out dancing and went outside, and there's this guy who just pretty much quizzes me on me being transgender, and is basically like, I can't acknowledge you as a woman, so like, what are you trying to be? And then later on he admits that he's tripping on mushrooms, so it's basically like, if I was going to talk about mathematics or Jane Eyre or just anything else besides my own self, I'm pretty sure that would have just resulted in an aggravating conversation. But it's really annoying when it's usually um, heterosexual cisgendered men who just kind of exhibit this like assholic quality of wanting to and showing like how much they own the earth, as if the mere fact wasn't enough. There's always constant moments of exhibition. So like last week, a week ago, dealing with those two cars of multiples of men just trying to basically co-opt me or coerce me and whatnot. And then just going out and just getting some air, resulting in this guy who just had to get his like 2 cents out to me, even though it was quite random and, not necessarily associating myself with him. It was stupid and annoying. So I'm trying not to take it to heart. And generally, I don't find myself in these situations where I find men who are quizzing their own sexuality and their own understanding through my own identity. But nevertheless, it's when it does happen, it's just super aggravating, and I don't know. It's like it's most likely that I'm most likely not interested in those types of folks. But it's like there's this stereotype that I live with, that I have, statistically, that men are just aggravating to me. And I do have male friends. I do have trans male friends who identify, like, I just kind of group as men, but for me, my trans male friends happen to be very aware and mindful, and a handful of cisgendered identifying males, they're okay. But for the most part, like, the world that I deal with when I'm on the bus or walking down the street or just going out dancing, it's this constant, annoying, aggravating situation where men not only have to prove themselves in competition in sports, in terms of aggression, in terms of like, all these different aspects. It's like constantly having to reaffirm this like lack of self-confidence self, this like male image of like what you're supposed to be. And I know that I'm ragging on men in general, and that my feelings should be a little bit more refined, but right now I'm just like sick of men and just so aggravated that I don't know, like it sticks with me. But like that night, just tonight, going out dancing, just like it was like a warm welcome from a bunch of different people. So I mean, it wasn't like a bad night all in all. It's just what stood out, and that was just aggravating. So it's basically it's just absolutely annoying because it's like, as a woman, you constantly have to be the host of. I don't know. In many ways, it's like, okay, so with passing, for instance, it's like you have to present yourself and decorate yourself and like treat yourself as this like this ground, this material for men to consume, to observe, to criticize, to objectify, to do whatever. And it's like, I didn't get dressed up. I don't exist to satisfy men. I don't, I don't, I'm not here for that. And basically, all I can say is, if I could just speak to that person one more time, basically I would just say, fuck you, and to men, I know that in my last video, I basically have been railing on men. But it's absolutely aggravating. And it's like, maybe I'm just becoming more and more aware of it, and the differences and such, just on a very topical level. But I just find men characteristically, and in terms of their culturalization in like U.S. American society, just absolutely boring and stupid and trite. And it's not fair to group all men in that category. But I just don't think that men realize the type of privilege that they live in, that they can just go out and see, objectifying places women in a position of being property or a direct object. And that's the issue, is this level of subservience where you can already place a person in the position of being criticized. Because if someone is your equal, you generally don't do things like that. You treat people with respect. And I find it really annoying that men have this difficulty with like, so it's either men that they fear and that they like completely like are scared of, or like that they look up to, or it's like the women that like are objectified, and it's just like constant pedestals of like climbing up towards this like status of being fierce or being wealthy or being powerful. And essentially that's what it is power. How to accentuate this power and where to prove this power, because power alone in a room isolated by itself is useless. So power exhibits itself in terms of like societal measures of constantly having to prove it over and over again. And whether that's catcalling down the street or just like staring a woman up and down as if like you had the right to be able to just, determine whether or not like this person was sex worthy. It's just aggravating, and I don't know. It's like the majority of why I'm standoffish, or hard to approach or unapproachable, is because I'm in the place of like living a life that's a little bit more militant or a little bit more hostile. When I go out into the world and leave this room, it is a lot more hostile, and that is why I have to be tough, and that is why I kind of give off this like ambiance, this aura, if I dare so say, is just because it's like there's just a lot of just fierceness and ferocity of like this male exhibitionism, and that's like a big part of it. And for instance, like I don't feel like I have to really prove passing with other women. It's not really necessarily like a huge component, because I find that even like women on the street just kind of like, if they seem to just give me this look that they can identify me as being transgendered, it's usually met with a smile, or even at the least just a very curt smile, and that's that. But men like have to go out of their way to use the food that they eat and convert that into energy so that they could be assholes. And to me, like, it's just a waste of time. And so I'm kind of in this like fuck you men attitude right now. But again, I don't want to group all men in that category because there are some very outstanding male identifying folks. And but yeah, on a positive note, I did get a few phone numbers from some charming woman that I was there talking with, and it was really sweet. So and had a fun time dancing with friends. But seriously, like, if I have to go through another video and just say, men, honestly, like, get your fucking act together with, because it's 2011, and it's like thousands of years of civilization, and it's like time to start owning up to all the bullshit that you kind of just generally display and the privilege that you enjoy. Because I feel like, if anything, the best definition for feminism isn't necessarily trying to equate the same powers and privileges of men. It's really just saying, I'm gonna keep doing what I need to do and get the fuck out of my way or support me. And that's pretty much what feminism is to me. And for men who don't understand that, just stop breathing or go to another island with just other men who are like you, and eventually, in the next 40 to 60 years, there'll just be no more men like that. But, I'm really, really bitter right now, and I acknowledge that. So I do apologize. But, fuck you, men, for right now. And thanks for tuning in. So, if you're in that rare category of being a very understanding, sensitive, and open-minded male, or male-identifying person, I should say, thank you. Because that's what the world needs. And it doesn't matter how strong women are, so long as we all have to share the same common spaces. And this is not also to say that women are assholes as well. I mean, women can clearly be assholes, but for the moment being, this is where I'm at. So, thanks for listening to my rant and whatnot, and I hope you're all doing somewhat relatively well and asleep, as I should be right now. So that's pretty much it. So take care, and thanks for tuning in.